All right, this video is going to teach you about effort. So I'm going to show you how to start to notice the effort she's putting into your texting conversation. We already talked about time. We talked about it a lot. We're moving on to effort now. And what I mean by effort is two things. First, the first rule is how many texts, like actual messages, is she sending compared to you? So really look at the PDF for this chapter and you can see my text when I explain this. But a good rule of thumb is hold out your phone and for my phone I have I have one color for me and then the other color is the other person texting. So if I were to hold out my phone, I could easily see by the colors who's texting more than the other person. You want to see more of their color than yours. So if I held it out and I saw that I sent one text and she sent me two, that's a good sign. So you always want the actual amount of text to be 1-to-1 or her to send more to your one. You never want to be sending her 2 or 3 messages and her giving you one response. You're training her to then wait for you to respond 3 times before she texts you back. You don't want that. You want, if she doesn't send you a text back, do not send her another text. It's very much like ping pong. So if you're playing ping pong, think about it. Here, you're serving the ball. All right, so this is your text. Boom, you hit it over. If she doesn't hit it back, the ball's on her side. You cannot hit the ball again. Just think about it that simple. Now, if she hits it back, now your turn to decide if you want to hit it back or not. Like again, what we talked about in the first module, if a girl sends me one little text back, that's like her hitting the ball into the net. It's like it's still on her side. She needs to do more than that to get my attention. So you hit one text to her, you need to wait for a text back. If she doesn't text you back, don't panic. That's what most guys do. Play it cool, because if she doesn't reach out to you, she wasn't interested. I know you want to say she was, but don't worry. If you just focus on the next person and improving yourself, you won't even worry about the girls that weren't interested in you. You'll only worry about the new opportunities for you, and you'll get a lot more. Trust me. That whole thing about plenty of fish in the sea is absolutely correct. I literally, as we're sitting here, I have like 60 messages on my online dating that girls have responded to me, and I'm not even going to respond back. I don't have the time. I'm traveling. There's plenty of girls out there if you upgrade your profile and you learn to discipline yourself with these texting. All right, so one effort was looking at the actual text sent. She sends you one text, you send one back. But now, here's the other thing with this. How long is each text? So here's the other part of effort is, if I send her one text, but it's a paragraph long, and she sends me 2 texts, and it's one word, who was showing more effort? You or her? She sent 2 texts, but you sent this paragraph. So the second part of effort is like how long each of your texts are compared to hers. Again, if you hold out your phone, you should be sending less words than she is. And if you're not doing that, start to slow down on your texting. I used to make this mistake of thinking if I didn't explain everything to a girl, like if I didn't over-explain myself in every text, like I'd lose my chance and she wouldn't know what I was talking about. And then I realized women are connectors. They love to read between the lines. They love to try to figure your texting out. So when you over-explain, it's like that teacher in class that talks and talks and talks and talks, and you're like, let's move on, I got it already. When you over-explain yourself, you bore her, you lull her to sleep. So what I do now, this is like the rule of copywriting, I call it. So when you're writing copy, that's like when you're writing reading a web page. Copy is the writing on there that basically makes you want to buy something. It's like persuasive writing. So my kind of rule I always think of is the copywriting rule, which is if you're writing this long paragraph, kill off every word that is not completely necessary. You do not need to over-explain yourself to women. Let me give you an example just off the top of my head. Let's just say that she asked how my weekend was. If I was going to say, well, it was really good. We went to the park. We did, then I went on a picnic. Then I played with my niece. Then I did blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I would think about everything I wanted to say. And then I would literally go, what is not completely necessary? Does she need to know that I went on a picnic? No. I cut that piece out. Does she need to know that I went to the park? No. Now, me playing with my niece, women love guys that are good with kids. That shows that you're involved with your family. That's something that you might want to keep because it actually has value. She doesn't really care that you went on a picnic, but she might care that you spent time with your family. So keep that part and get rid of that other crap. So the copywriting rule is, again, look at your text. Ask yourself, do I need to send this? You probably don't. Most of the time, you don't need to send a text. I try to text just to hang out. Like, that's my end goal. I understand you have to make her feel comfortable with you to a certain extent, but I try to text as little as possible. So I'm always looking for ways to cut down the length of my messages. Another reason this is attractive is people that are good with words. That's, an attractive quality. Think about poets. Like, it's kind of a cliche, like women love poets or artists that write their own songs. If you're good with words, that's attractive. So being good with words is knowing what words are needed and what aren't. So practice figuring out, if a girl read this, does she really need to know this, or can I cut it out? Does she need to know that I was bored and played video games? No. Does she need to know that I ate a whole bag of Doritos by myself? No. Does she need to know that I finished a big project or I read a really good book this weekend? Maybe, because now, remember, it's that end goal of you being a respectable guy that she can trust. That helps towards that end goal, so that's something you would keep. All right, the next video, we'll talk about the energy in a text. It's a little abstract, a little kind of hard to get at first, but give it a chance, and you'll start to, with more experience, really understand what I mean by energy. Don't forget, subscribe, like, comment, share the video, but definitely subscribe. Peace.